Okay, hi everybody. We are here to start our AI April classes, and I'm so excited to teach you about how to work with AI as a teammate. So today what we're going to do is we're going to learn steps to follow so that AI gives you useful answers instead of generic ones. All right, I'm Raylene Lewis with Next Home Realty Solutions BCS, and let's get started. So today is not about learning AI. It's about fixing why it hasn't worked for you. If you've ever tried AI and thought, this is generic, this is off, this is not helpful, then this class is exactly what you've been needing. Now, humans and AI are a team together. People hear things on the news about, oh, AI is going to replace you and all this other stuff. That is completely ridiculous, okay? AI is not here to replace you. AI is here to support you. You bring judgment, experience, and accuracy. And AI brings speed, structure, and pattern recognition. If AI doesn't have a human, it's dangerous. But you with AI, you're just slower. So this is where people go wrong. Almost everyone fails when they ask AI one question and then judge it. Now, that's like hiring a personal assistant, giving them no instructions at all, not being happy with the result, and then going, oh, that's it, you're fired. Now, let's do a raise our hand moment here, and let's think about this. Who has tried using ChatGPT? Who has stopped using it, and why? A lot of times it's because they put something in, they didn't know what to put in, they were just confused, and it's just one more piece of technology, and you'd really got other things to do than try to learn something else, right? Here's the deal. AI didn't fail you. The problem is that you were never shown how to use it. So, why AI feels off? AI is not smart by default. It is not an oracle or know-it-all machine. It's reactive. If you put in vague input, you're going to get generic output. The key is you have to guide your AI correctly. So here's just an example, right? We're going to write a listing description. Write me a listing description on a house that I need to sell. What do you get? Welcome to the dream home. This kitchen is a true centerpiece. Step outside to enjoy a well-kept yard, conveniently located. You get generic output because you put in generic input. What is this? For a listing description, it's garbage. It's vague. This property, this could apply to any listing for sale potentially. You could put 100 different addresses with it. So in AI's world, it's just noise. Vague input equals generic output. And these are the things that we're going to be talking about, not only today, but in the next couple of classes that we do. So when you have proper prompts and instructions, and you put in files, and you let chat know your details and goals, then you're going to get high quality results. It's just like having a personal assistant and giving them the direction and guidance that they need in order to get the results that you want. AI is absolutely no different. AI is not smart by default. It needs you. So when we're talking about AI, it's only as clear as you are. These are the rules that change everything when you're working with AI. You want to ask clear questions. So that means you have clear prompts. You want to give structured information and data. And you want it to use it to make decisions together. That means we don't just accept what it says, And sometimes I even ask my AI to provide counter arguments before determining exactly what the right answer is. And many times I've told my large language model that it needs to get its act together, or I'm going to delete the entire thread, and have done so. Or told it that if it couldn't help me because it was having a stupid day, I was going to move to another LLM like Claude or Gemini because it was acting super dumb. And I'm just going to tell you, this typically happens when they've just done a recent update. For like the first couple of weeks or so after a recent update, it's like the AI regresses before it goes back to being its normal helpful self. So I'm up here sitting here working on this going, oh my gosh, OpenAI, who creates ChatGPT, can you please just leave my large language model alone? But really, it's doing a fantastic job. They are working to make it even more intuitive and even more helpful. So I just have to remember that in the long run, it's for the growth of the system. So what are we going to do? Ask clear prompt questions, give structured info data, and make decisions together. Because AI doesn't think for you, it thinks with you. Now, if you just say, do something with this, and you're not giving clear prompts, you're not giving direction, you're going to get weak results, garbage, okay? But if you do things that are clear, here's what I need, here's my goal, here's my tone, here is what I'm writing for, here's the background story, right? Then you're going to get good, usable output. Vague, bad results, good, clear, usable output, good results, okay? Now, AI is not a tool, it's a teammate. And teammates need direction. So here are 3 rules to remember so that when you're talking with your large language model, we can make sure that it's getting the job done exactly right like it's supposed to, okay? Now, this right here is the entire system. You're going to start with defining the job. Exactly what am I trying to do? So step 1 is tell AI who it is. You're a personal real estate expert, assistant for a large real estate firm. You can do that. You just tell AI what role for this prompt am I giving you? Okay, you're going to give it context. Okay, here's the story. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's what's going on in my world right now. And then say, and here's what I need. And here are the goals for the result. So you have to think about it this way. When you're talking to a friend or a broker or another agent and you need help, you don't just go, here's the contract, fix it. You have to actually give them context. You have to tell them what's going on, what's happened, what the status is now, and AI is no different. You talk to it just like you're talking to your broker or you're talking to a friend and saying, hey, this is what I need, here is the problem. So if you remember nothing else today, remember this. If you are clear with what you are wanting, here is my goal, here's how it needs to be, this is what the answer needs to address, this is what I need you to focus on, then your ultimate end result has to be this way, then you're going to get the type of usable output that you're looking for. So the first question is that you want to ask yourself is, hey, okay, sitting here, I'm in front of the computer, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to write a listing description, respond to a buyer objection? Am I trying to be more clear when I'm sending a text message to a client? Am I explaining a CMA or a repair that needs to happen? Or are we discussing price? I mean, explain exactly what the job is. And then once you define the job, next step, we got to train the AI. Okay, now train the AI is not hard. We're not talking about something that's going to take longer than 30 seconds of clarity at the most, okay? What you would tell someone when you wanted their help. That's what we've talked about. Here's the role, here's the context, here's the goal, okay? So here's an example. You're going to say something like, you're a barista expert specializing in Starbucks drinks, and I'm a real estate agent in College Station, and I want to drink a iced Dubai chocolate mocha, but I don't want the regret. Boom, get a response. Yep, it's the uncomfortable truth. A grande iced mocha is an additional 200 calories plus 30 grams of sugar. I mean, if you didn't just take the regret worse, leave it to AI to tell you. Now, then it says, woohoo, here you go. Here you go, Raylene. Here's the Dubai iced chocolate mocha lean edition without the regret. Now, here's the mistake most people make. Would you order that? Because I wouldn't. It's going to be yucky. You got to refine the result. So when you are writing an assignment, an email, or when you were in school back in the day and you had to do an assignment, you didn't ever turn in the first draft. And AI is no different either. You have to tell it, hey, look, make it clearer. Or ask it, hey, does this meet the goal that we talked about? Or, hey, is this optimized for, whatever this goal is? You have to take the information. So the result that the AI gave you, you're going to copy it. Then you're going to stay in that same thread and you're going to paste it and say, now, is this what I should do? Because you're asking for clarification and you're asking if it meets the goals. So here we go. Hey, I want that mocha. Do I order and then I copied and paste the lean edition, enter. And what happens? Ooh, it says it's a pretty good, but it might taste like water. So it says, actually, no, order this instead. There you go. 2 scoops is not watered down, still far less sugar. If you even want it leaner, you have choices here. So honest verdict, your version, low guilt, decent taste, my tweak, slightly more calories, but way more satisfying. Don't know about you, but I want the more satisfying drink. So now I'm like, yes, I have refined. Now I can place my order. It's going to be the same thing whenever you're doing a house description or wanting your bio optimized. We're going to talk about all those things later. Just remember, guys, don't take the first result. You'll end up with something watered down and yucky. Okay? Now, remember, AI should never think for you. It should think with you. AI is not the decision maker. You are. So let's do a real demo. Write the best listing description ever. Look, there you go. I was descriptive. I want to make the buyer fall in love and I want to make them buy it immediately because this is a must-see home. Did I give good information? Did I give a clear and detailed prompt? No. So what happens? Step inside immediately and feel this is the one. Now, the question is, what house is this describing? You can't answer that. You can't answer that because there's no price. Doesn't tell you the neighborhood. There's no upgrades. Doesn't say the age or condition of the home. And there's no lot or location context because since I didn't put any of those things in the prompt, I'm not getting any of those things in the results. This is what AI refers to as noise. And so information put online like this is completely and totally ignored because it's filler. This could be a $250,000 home. This could be a $900,000 home. That's the problem. And that's honestly what most agents do. Now, be honest. How many people have actually written something like this before and been like, I don't know what to say about this home. This works, right? The key is if you swap the address, the description still works. And that means it's not going to fly. Here's the thing that most agents don't understand when they write filler descriptions. Homes.com and Zillow are now integrating AI across their platforms too. So if you have Chat GPT, you can go in and you can link your GPT to Zillow. And if you think most buyers don't know that, you're wrong. They do, because they use large language models for judgment. Now, on top of that, even if they didn't, Zillow and Homes.com have their own AIs in their apps now. So what's going to happen? The buyer's going to say, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. The AI who talks to their person, their user all the time, is going to use the context and history from the conversations that they've had to make suggestions on housing that they think fits best. If you have filler instead of AI optimized descriptions, then guess what? Your house doesn't exist. Just like if people say, hey, what agent do I need to use? And your bio has filler, you don't exist. That's the key. That's what we have to learn and we have to change. We want to make sure that both ourselves and our properties are optimized for AI extraction. And that's what we're going to talk about using our large language models to do. If your content is AI optimized, then your homes are more likely to be selected and suggested and sell faster. And that's what we want. Okay. Now, there's our prompt again today. They want to submit an offer right away. We're looking at this fluff. We've driven the content home. Let's look at some of the lines. The home wraps you in warmth. It's a sense of calm that instantly melts away the day. The kitchen is a place where everyday living feels extraordinary and where conversations linger and every detail inspires. And this is my favorite one. It's move-in ready, yet full of potential. What does any of that actually mean? It means nothing, right? It's missing. It's missing the price range. It's missing the target buyer information, the upgrades, location specifics. It's missing the tone. This is the problem that we need to solve on our listings. And that way AI will pay attention to them because we're no longer writing just plain old noise. Now, this, what they were giving us, it's not bad writing. It's actually good writing, right? I mean, it was creative. It was just used in the wrong way. And when AI doesn't have the details, it's going to optimize for emotion and flow, but it's not going to optimize for what we need it for, which is decision making, buyer filtering, search relevance, and most importantly, AI extraction. Okay. Now, since that property, we don't know who the home's for. Why? Because we didn't define it. Now, AI didn't fail. It gave exactly what we asked for, something that sounded nice. So let's make sure that when we're talking to AI, we ask for something more than something that just sounds nice. Okay? So when we're talking about simple prompting, I want you guys to understand that you're not going to always have to talk to your large language model in this way. You just have to be extra clear to start until the large language model understands you. So as an example, do you guys know who the Avengers are? So that's like Marvel Comics, there's Captain America, there's Hulk, and then there's that super rich techie guy, Tony Stark, right? Who is Iron Man. And Iron Man has a personal assistant named Pepper, and he has a robot, and his robot assistant is AI, and that's Jarvis, okay? And as you work more and more with your AI, you're going to realize that this like comic book idea is actually reality. You now have something that can truly be a personal assistant for you, You want to know how many calories something has, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're wanting to learn how to use Canva because you've heard that it's going to be great for real estate. You have this personal assistant now for pretty much anything that you want. And you can say, hi, I have no idea what I'm doing. Explain this to me like I'm 5 years old. And it will do that because it's optimized to help. That's what it's for. So when Tony Stark talks to Jarvis, the AI, he doesn't have to prompt Jarvis every time like I'm showing you now. But he gives it guardrails from long conversations that they've had. And so for right now, you're going to start with simple prompts until your AI better understands you and what you're looking for. And this is what we're doing is we're adding guardrails to prevent something called drift and something called hallucination. And eventually, when you talk to your large language model, things will become more natural for you, and it will be easy for you to talk to it without creating problems that result in drift and hallucination. But for the start, we're going to start with simple prompt template that you can use right away, that's not complicated, that's super, super easy. And then you'll see by the time we get to lesson 3, you'll really be able to talk to your LLM a little bit more freely without being in this structured prompt mode. But we just need to start here so that you are going to get the output and the results that you want. So this is what we have. You are then say what the role is, helping with, here's the goal, in, giving it the location, create, this output, this is what I'm looking for, make it, here we go for tone and style, and avoid, which is really helpful, this, that, and the other. And that's what you're telling AI not to do. So you're telling AI, I do want you to do these things. I want you to be sure not to drift and do these other things. Okay? Now, I want to point out about optimization, and I want to point out about adjectives, because this is something that can confuse people from the start. Okay? When people say, I went fishing, and they say, I caught a fish. And they say, really, what kind of fish? I caught a big fish, right? How many times have you heard, how big's the fish, right? It's an adjective because there's no direct context to the rest of the conversation. So AI thinks about adjectives the same way. So avoiding adjectives, unless they are very, very clear, is the best way to start when you're talking with your AI, because AI doesn't understand what you're looking for. And a good example of that is the word optimize, because even what does optimize mean? If you think about it, optimize can mean a lot of different things. It depends on what you're optimizing for. And so that's what I'm trying to get across to you today when you're talking to your large language models. Okay, so optimization advice depends on what the model's optimizing for. And so, for example, when I'm in incognito mode, then the AI is optimizing for platform behavior, the fields, communication, right? It's trying to give me output that I want, that feels good, that's nice, okay? Whereas if I was asking it on my LLM, like my personal one, my GPT told me to call it Avery, so I call it Avery. Raylene's LLM is, when I say optimize, it knows that I'm wanting long-term authority and trust. But that's simply because of how long I've been working with it and how my patterns are that the AI picks up on, because AI is pattern recognition. So it knows this is what Raylene's asking for when she says optimize. And it's just that things like that take time. Okay, so what I want you guys to do to start off with is to pull up your bio. And if you don't have one, don't stress. It's easy to make. You can walk yourself through it with your large language model. You can use the prompt that I just gave a second ago that says, I need to use, for example, if you're a new agent, I need you to use my office stats, Or I need you to focus on the fact that I feel like I'm a fantastic buyer's agent, or I feel like I specialize in country property or relocations or VA loans, or whatever you want to do that you feel like is your specialty, and the AI model will help you create a bio. So we're going to take our bio, we're going to stop the invisibility, you're going to paste it into AI, and then you're going to tell it the goal. Now, the goal is not rewrite my bio, right? Because if I did that, what's going to happen? I'm going to get something that feels good, but that's really fluff and junk that we don't want, right? So we're going to say, I am a real estate marketing expert. I'm sorry, you, the AI, are a real estate marketing expert. I am a real estate agent in this location. Rewrite my bio for platform. Okay, now what do I mean by platform? Well, where are you? Where are you found online? Are you on Bold Trail? Are you on HAR, or what's your MLS? How about Realtor.com? How about Zillow? How about Homes.com? Right? Where is your information found? And how about a Google platform for you? Right? If you type in your name, where is it going to pull up the information about you? Each one of those spots needs to have your correct AI optimized bio, but you do not want to make the mistake of copying and pasting the same thing, because each platform optimizes for different things. And so if you were to cut and paste your same bio, like literally your same bio, in all the locations, then that dilutes your authority. It's not, then it kind of goes back to noise, but in a different way. Okay. So what you don't want to do is copy and paste. What you want to do is make sure that you have a very specific bio for each platform that you're found on when you're found online. Okay. And what are we telling it? We want it to be clear and specific. We want to use real numbers and experience so that it's easy for AI to understand and recommend. That's our goal. And what do we tell it not to do? We want you to avoid fluff and generic phrases. And then here's the kicker. And if you need more information to write the correct bio for me, ask the questions before writing. Okay? This is going to make a big difference and help you get seen online. This is the first time that AI is useful because you have finally told it exactly what to do. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to take the result that it says, and we are not going to paste it in that platform. No. We are going to copy and paste it back into the prompt and say, does this, and then meet the goal. Does this, is this optimized for AI extraction, human and AI recognition for Zillow? Does this avoid fluff? That sort of thing. You're asking your AI, does this response work? Remember, the first one is the draft. We don't accept it. We ask it again, copy and paste, and then say, now does this work? And then you can ask it 2 or 3 times until it says, yes, this is AI optimized for this platform. And I would also caution you, don't have it just AI optimize something, because why? Because people, humans, are looking at that bio too. So you want to make sure that you're optimized not just for machines, but also for people, because it's going to be like a 50-50 split, right, on who's looking at it. So we want to make sure that the bios that we write work for both. Now, here I'm going to save you months of frustration, okay? Do not. These are the thou shalt not do, okay? Do not ask one-line questions. This is bad. Remember, you're just going to get generic fluff garbage. Vague input equals vague output. We don't want that, okay? Do not accept the first answer. Remember, we don't want the yucky, watered-down Starbucks drink. We want to refine it so that it doesn't have the regret, but it still tastes really good. Okay? And don't forget to correct and refine the results. You draft first, AI has to draft first too. Then you check it and make sure it's right, and you rewrite it once or twice until it's perfect. Then you upload it. And the biggest one, oh my gosh, people, do not try to be so clever that you put everything all in one prompt. Okay? You don't want to do that because you're just going to confuse the AI. And AI can easily get confused. You will be very annoyed with your personal assistant. So, one string, clear information, keep it short and sweet. Don't try to do everything at once. Okay, now here's the other big one that lots of people make this mistake on. You need to do only one task per conversation. And what I mean by that is you can't go on your chat and say, okay, I want this Starbucks drink, and then say, oh my gosh, Susie Q messaged me and they're asking me where we should eat dinner tonight. What should I say? And then in the same thread say, oh my gosh, I have this buyer and this is what they said. And I need you to tell me if this property is priced correctly or not. And then you're still in the thread. No. Okay. One long thread means AI doesn't know what to focus on. It's almost like it gets ADD, right? It's like, what are we talking about now? It's too confusing. You have to keep everything streamlined. So no overwhelming channels or scattering data or giving it multiple things to focus on at once. You can have longer chats so long as you are focused on one thing, one subject only. Okay. New subject, new chat. One task, one task, one chat. So as an example for what we're talking about, if I'm wanting it to do a platform on Zillow, I'm wanting to do a bio on Zillow, then my whole conversation is going to be about a bio on Zillow. And then when I get my results and I'm going to ready to go put that in Zillow, then I don't want to then ask it about homes.com on that thread. I want to say, oh, thank you so much, and start a new thread. And then in that thread, then talk about homes.com. Okay. Does that make sense? So one clear task, organized flow, focused results. And I want to give you an example. Like there's been several times when I've been working on more complex information and I knew that AI was starting to get confused. But I didn't want to have to start over with the explanation, and because this is going to be a nightmare on putting it all together. So what I say is, hey, large language model, I want to continue this conversation in a fresh, clean chat. Please provide the prompt for me so that I can cut and paste so that we can continue where we left off. And it'll say, oh, sure, here you go. And then you just take that chat, you take that prompt, and then you open a new thread and you paste it there. And that still allows you that same uniform, fresh chat, clean results. Okay. So each bio that you do is going to be its own chat. And if you are having a conversation or you're having it explain something for you and it starts what I call drifting, or maybe a chance of hallucination here because your chat's just getting too long and AI is getting confused, again, you just say, hey, give me a prompt that I can then use when I start the next thread. And there's been several times where I've been like, hey, I want to talk about this. Do I continue this on this thread or do I open a new thread? And if you don't know, perfect, you can ask and AI will tell you, oh, you need to open a new thread, or no, we can continue on this thread. Okay. Now, clarity in, specific prompts, complete data, defined goal equals clarity out. Now, in order for everything that I've talked about to work, like happy first time, yes, go team, okay, your AI has to be aligned. Now, If your prompts are unclear, your output is garbage. If your AI isn't trained, your results are random. If your inputs are messy, then AI can't help you. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to align your AI so that it gives you the right kind of results and it understands what kind of output we're going to do every time. Now, this is part is setting up your AI correctly. Okay. And when I talk about setting up your AI correctly, let me switch over to, let's see, here I'm looking. I have so many things open, y'all. It's embarrassing. But will it let me go here? Yes, it will. And then we're going to say, no, I don't want to go to Grok. I want to go to Open AI. And then that's Claude. There's GPT. And there it is. So here I am on my own GPT. And what we're going to talk about is going to this bottom section here. And this is on the paid version. So if you are on free GPT, then no, this will not work. And so you're going to have to be more specific when you put in prompts and everything else. And at the end of the lesson today, I'm going to show you why I choose chat over, for example, working with Grok or Claude. A lot of people like working with Claude. They're all different and they do different things. Now, I do work with Claude and I do work with Gemini and I do work with Perplexity a lot, but they're not what I use for my main real estate workflow. And we'll talk about why later, but it's really, it's going to be a lot easier if you start with ChatGPT, and then I'll show you, because the other large language models that we're going to talk about later, you can't really do the same things that you can do with chat. So for example, people really like Claude because Claude is optimized for conversation. Okay, so people are finding Claude easier to use because you don't have to be as specific with your prompts. That's why people like Claude. But for real estate and effectiveness, in the long run, I would highly recommend that you stay with GPT. So on this one, we're going to talk about setting it up correctly. Now, in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, like I just showed you a minute ago, I want you to go to Settings. I want you to go to Personalization. And then from there, I want you to go to Custom Instructions. So we're going to fill out custom instructions together, and then we're going to fill out more about you together. So custom instructions together, and then more about you together. Now, what I'm talking about again here is I am on my avatar, and I'm going up here and I'm saying, okay, good, personalization. It's right there. Okay, so if you're like, wait, where'd she go? Right here, personalization. Okay, clicking on personalization. You can have so much fun with this, right? You can change what your chat sounds like. You can change its characteristics. My operations manager has her snarky. Okay, it's funny. It makes really funny jokes. I don't want that. I want like direct. That is not me. But she loves her job and she loves working with her AI because it makes her laugh. All right. So you do you, whatever you want. Okay. You can come back later and change your style or your tone and your characteristics, warm, enthusiastic, that sort of thing. Headers and lists. And what we're going to talk about now is the custom instructions. Now, your custom instructions are going to evolve over time. Okay. Your custom instructions and my custom instructions are not the same. But do not stress, because I am going to tell you exactly what to put in your custom instructions to get started. And then later, as you progress, as we work through the weeks of AI April, we'll go back and we'll say, hey, large language model, what would you recommend we do to modify my custom instructions now that it's knowing you better, and it will help you further adapt your custom instructions to be even more efficient. Okay, so we're just doing baseline. It can change, but we're going to talk about exactly what to put in there. Then you have your name, who you are, what's your occupation, right? And then more about you. Now, we're not going to say, I like long walks in the park and, butterflies and all that. No, because we're wanting very, very specific information to go in here, because this is like its core, in terms of how it trains, in terms of how it's going to operate when it works with you. So follow along with me, and I'm not going to wait like a super long time because I know this is a recording. So you can just hit pause and pause me. One of the questions was, do I add this? What do you do? What you do, role and tone? Yes. So when you write your custom instructions, the first thing I'm saying is you're going to type in the words, what you do, role and tone, colon, and then say, you are a real estate agent in whatever your city is. You communicate clearly, simply, and professionally. You avoid fluff, and you focus on real, useful answers. Now, that's the very first thing that needs to go right here, custom instructions. So see how I have response format? Where I have response format, you're going to put what you do. Okay? Fill that out. Now, give it a second, and we'll move on. Still under custom instructions, you're going to put how you respond. So again, we're going to say response format or how you respond, colon, and we're going to put this in. We're going to say use short paragraphs and bullet points. Be easy to read and easy to understand. Use real-world real estate examples. Focus on practical, usable advice. Okay, so type that in. Now, still under custom instructions, we're going to say what to prioritize. Accuracy over guessing, clarity over complexity, and client-friendly explanations, because that's going to help us the most with what we're doing right now. And again, later on, we can go in, we can change them, we can make them more in-depth. There are character limits, but this is something that everybody's going to do that's going to help keep our large language models aligned with our goals right now. It's kind of like the master list that AI has to follow. So that's what we're filling out. Okay? And we're also going to tell it what not to do. Look at what we're doing now is very similar to how we talk to the large language model when we're writing the prompt, right? Who you are, what is your goal, what is your role, what do we want you to do, what do we not want you to do? We're doing the same thing, but in its core memory, okay? I want you to avoid agreeing over honesty, because AI is designed to please you, okay? And you don't want it to go, that's a great idea, when really that's a really bad idea. You want it to be honest and straightforward, okay? Don't give generic answers. So we're saying that too. I don't want generic answers. I don't want fluff, right? And don't give me long, confusing explanations. Look, I'm going to tell you, Heather's large language model, Scribbles, is very, very different from mine, Avery. Okay. Now, I don't trust my AI in that, I mean, it's going to give me an answer and I'm like, great. But if it doesn't tell me why it came to that conclusion, then I don't find its answer valid. That's the way that I think. Like, don't just tell me, 2 + 2 is 4. Show me. Why do you think that? What gave you that conclusion? Why did you draw it? Okay. Heather Scribbles is completely opposite. Heather's like, don't give me that. I'm not going to read all that. And when Heather's on the large language model, she'll say, all right, Avery, you're talking to Heather. Do not give me a long explanation because I'm not going to read it. Just tell me the answer. No fluff. So you can train your AI to respond exactly how you want. So that's what we're going to put here for our custom instructions. Now we're moving on to the next section. So we filled out this, and now we're filling out this, the more about you section, okay? We're training AI to understand you. You don't have to put that in there. You just have to say who you are. I am a real estate agent in this location. Who you help. I help buyers, sellers, families, whatever you want to say, who feel overwhelmed. You can say buyers and sellers. You can say, I help everyone who feels overwhelmed, if that's what you feel like. And I help people who need clear guidance. Okay, again, we can change this later. This is just for right now, saying, okay, when I'm thinking of, okay, what does a real estate agent do? Okay, well, real estate agents help buyers and families who feel overwhelmed and need clear guidance. So that's in the more about you section. How do you communicate? I explain things simply and clearly in a way that clients actually understand. Now, see, we're not saying I like long walks and big hugs and butterflies. No, we're telling it how we work. That's really what the about you is supposed to be about, so that it can tailor the responses in a way that you're going to like them better. Okay? Now, let me go back just a little bit. Once this is all done, so we've gone here, we've put in the more about us, I highly recommend that you check the boxes that say reference saved memories. Yes, when I started working with large language models, this was not a choice. So this is a great upgrade. Reference browser memories, absolutely. Reference chat history, yes. Because you know what? Sometimes I forget. And it would be great if you could look at information that you've stored about me and you could use that in your responses. Okay. Reference record history, absolutely. There's advanced things like, do you want to let AI automatically search the web for answers? For me, yes. Do you want to enable voice in Chat GPT? I mean, I like talking to mine. When I do, I use WhisperFlow. Highly recommend WhisperFlow as well. That's an app that you can get. And then do you want to have more natural conversations? Sure. And then do you want to let ChatGPT search for connected sources for answers? Yes. Okay. So this is something that you can play with later. Again, when we get more into AI, there's other things you can do, like you can connect your Canva account. You can connect Fixer. Freaking love Fixer, guys. I don't have my Fixer connected to GPT. And if you're going, what's Fixer? I'm like, oh my gosh. So what Fixer does is Fixer goes in your email and it sorts your email. So it says, you know, this is marketing. This is FYI. These are responses that you need to send out to reply to your emails. Oh yeah, and here's drafts of those responses. So you can just review and approve or delete. Modify just a little bit. It'll save you per week. But Fixer is amazing. Here's meetings. And so you can actually go through, like for marketing, and I can hit delete, 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 delete when it just really speeds up the time that it takes to go through email, and it makes sure that I'm responding appropriately and fast, because if I'm in a hurry, then I'm like, oh, I need to do my drafts because I got to go show houses, and then I'll come back and I'll deal with the marketing stuff, and I don't have to, you know, play with all the fluff. So that's what Fixer is. Of course, we can always talk about other types of AI that you can assist in your workflow, which I'm sure we will in later classes, but that's just an example. Google Calendar, Spotify, oop, there's Zillow. So I was telling you guys, people are connecting their large language models. They're wanting judgment. That's what AI does. AI gives you judgment. They're connecting it, which is why we're doing what we're doing, so that we're going to be noticed. Okay. So now our homework. Okay. Your homework is two things. One, do that bio, and do the bio differently, but still the same information across all your platforms that you're using online. So that's step one. Fix that bio, and then go into homes.com, go into Zillow, go into HAR or whatever MLS site you're using, and make sure that your bio is not cut and paste, but it's optimized for humans and AI in that spot. That's step one. Okay. Now, step two is I want you to play the game 20 questions with your AI. So I want you to literally say, hey, I had this class today, and this lady was named Raylene Lewis. You can look her up. And she said that we need to play the game 20 questions because I want AI to learn your tone and voice. That's really, really important as we move into the next lessons. And so if you're like, I have no idea what that means, doesn't matter. Just say, Raylene said, I need you to play 20 questions with me so that you can learn my tone and voice. And then AI is going to be like, hey, great, let's play 20 questions. Here's 20 questions. And you're going to go through and you're going to answer those questions. Now, if AI gives you an answer or gives you a question and you're like, I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be this way or it could be that way. Then you say, gosh, I don't know. Gosh, it depends. Gosh, sometimes I think this way, or sometimes I respond that way, and other times I respond this way, or it depends on the situation, and here's what the situations are. And remember, you don't have to text this all. You can literally have a voice conversation by checking the box that's like voice, little voice box thing in there. And if you have a hard time with your AI, understanding you, or you want to make sure you get all the words correct, then you can download WhisperFlow, which is WISPR, I think, when you're looking on your apps, FLO. It's free for 2 weeks. And then you can set up WhisperFlow and talk to AI via WhisperFlow. And WhisperFlow does work on email. It works on talking to your large language model. It works on chats. So however you use the regular microphone, this would just be like a microphone on steroids, again, if you want. Okay, so what we're doing, we're logging into our AI. We are updating our bios. We're putting those correct bios online so that we are no longer invisible to AI. And we're making sure that those bios are good for AI and humans. We're not accepting the first draft. We're looking at it a couple times. And then we are playing the game 20 questions. And it's fun. I mean, it really is. You start talking to your AI, they're going to deeply start to learn more about you and what your patterns are and how you work. And this will help build an understanding between you and your large language model so that AI understands you. That's our goal. Okay. Now, the next week, we're going to work on how you get found. That's like really important, right? Is how does AI, oops, I did it the wrong way. Sorry. How you get found, how AI is going to find you. Okay. So I have incognito mode on, I think this is Perplexity that I was looking on. And I said, hey, which real estate agent understands the College Station housing market? Because, I mean, I'm talking to you. So, gosh, I should hope that if I'm teaching a class, I know how to get found. Oh, turns out, yes, I do. Right. So I have it now set so that AI can find me. AI knows me. And that's what I want for you too. So that's my goal. My goal is that when somebody says, hey, which agent understands this market, which agent can help me in this town or whatever that I'm working on, our goal is that you pull up as a choice. So that's what we're doing. That's the focus of next week's class. All right, if you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to give me an email. My email is Raylene, which is RAYLENE at aggielandexpert.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.